You see your alma mater in the Pac-12 championship game. What are your thoughts?
I'm just proud, Doug, because, I mean, they have gone through such a low period in that program's history. Because what people fail to realize, in particular in this era of what have you done for me lately type of sports fans and in particular media, is people fail to realize that that's a top 25 program all time. And it has a great history with a national championship and a Heisman Trophy winner. And so to see those kids build it back to what, I remember from my childhood watching those games in Boulder, I'm just proud of them. I'm so happy for them. I'm a bit shocked at their season. I think most people are, but that is a really good football team, in particular on defense. And, hopefully they play well tonight. I'm fully expecting them to play well tonight, and hopefully they can get a win.
You rocking 2 cell phones? Because I heard one buzzing there in the background. Are you a 2 cell phone guy?
No, I'm not. Mine's actually buzzing as we speak. There's been a lot of requests this week, but I knew I had to get on with you.
I love it. That's very, very kind of you. Joel Klatt joining us on the Doug Gottlieb Show. What's the scenario that Colorado needs to have happen in order for them to get in the college football playoff?
That's going to be so tough for them because this committee seems hell-bent on honoring the best or the resumes rather than championships, and we'll see how much they value championships. But even if Colorado wins, Michigan is sitting there as a team that is ahead of them right now, and Michigan's the team that beat Colorado. So I think it's a very small path. I could argue for them, as in Sefo Lufau has not lost when he's played 4 quarters of football. He was out against USC. He was knocked out of the game against Michigan in the middle of the third quarter when Colorado had the lead in Ann Arbor. That would be the argument for Colorado. But, Doug, I think it's such a small path that right now they should just be focused on trying to get to the Rose Bowl, which, when you think of it, because of that decade of futility that I was explaining earlier, is a pretty remarkable feat.
It's an incredibly remarkable feat. I mean, if you and my thought would be, how incredible would it be considering where Penn State was half a decade ago, where some people thought this program should get the death penalty, to being in the Rose Bowl against the Colorado team that had kind of gone through their own NCAA issues and kind of given itself the death penalty and just could not get out of last place regardless of league. That would be an incredible. I know that other people outside of those 2 leagues or maybe those 2 schools wouldn't understand and don't care because it's not the college football playoff, but that would be an amazing thing, wouldn't it?
I think it would be, but I also, in your scenario, if Penn State were to win and Colorado were to win as well, I think Penn State would be in the playoff. So I think Colorado's playing for a rematch against Michigan more so than they would be playing for the winner against the game that I'm going to call. Because if Colorado beats Washington, I think that the winner of this game is going to go. Now, you can argue if it's Wisconsin because of that head-to-head with Michigan. I know Michigan also beat Penn State, but Penn State being the winner of their division, the winner of the conference, and having beat Ohio State, who right now looks like they're in, I think it would be incredibly difficult and quite frankly careless of the committee, if Penn State's the Big Ten champ, to keep them out.
Okay, so let me ask you this. Does Washington need to look good in winning or just win in order to get in?
I think they just need to win, because what is looking good against the 8th-ranked team in the country? Colorado's a great team. It's not like they're playing Virginia Tech or Florida, and they need to just trounce them because those 2 teams have looked really bad during the course of the season, like Alabama and Clemson are facing this week. Colorado's a great opponent, and they would be, I think, Washington's best win if they were able to win tonight against Colorado. So I don't think that there's any sort of margin or eye test or, fancy factor, if you will, that Washington needs to put out there. If they win, I fully believe that they deserve inclusion into the college football playoff.
If you follow Joel Klatt from Fox Sports on Twitter, you can hear his call tomorrow of the Big Ten championship game on Fox. Of course, tonight it's the Pac-12 championship game where you have Colorado taking on Washington. On Twitter, you tweeted out, and you've said this on a variety of shows, your 4 best teams, the teams you think are the 4 best, are Bama, Michigan, Ohio State, and USC. You throw USC in there with 3 losses, I kind of tend to agree with you, but it's also because that team has evolved, that team has changed. You put 4 most deserving, Bama, Washington, Clemson, and the Big Ten champion. You think you deserve it more even if you're in you're in a weaker division? Like, for example, Michigan didn't beat Ohio State. Wisconsin didn't beat Ohio State or Michigan. But because they're in the other division, they're in the Big Ten championship game. Like, that's more kind of a luck factor.
Yeah, and you're right. And obviously, if Wisconsin were to win, that would be a huge discussion. And I don't know where I sit on that. I want to honor championships, and I want to honor the accomplishments of the players on the field. But you're right. That is a difficult proposition if Wisconsin were to win this game. So I think that we could have the conversation. But I did tweet that out, and I firmly believe it. And that's part of my problem with this committee. And it's not necessarily, Doug, the committee's fault.
Yep.
It's the structure of our sport. You know, college basketball is structured so much more clean than college football because you don't have the inequities in schedules across conferences, and you don't have the inequities in schedules within your conference. I think that's what we're seeing more so here in the Big Ten than anything else, is that the result of this game may not matter, and that's not a reflection of the two teams involved, but the structure of the league.